This is Croydon in South London. In recent years, there is something that has put the name of Croydon on the map in the worst possible way. Knife crime, particularly involving young people. The issue of knife crime is an increasing concern across all of England and Wales. London and the surrounding regions, covered by the Metropolitan Police Service, have the highest levels of knife crime in the country. And in the year 2023-2024, out of the 32 London boroughs, Croydon had the second highest knife crime level behind Westminster, with 868 incidents. After a decline during the pandemic, knife-related incidents are on the rise again. Knife crime is a complex issue. Poverty, social media, toxic masculinity, organised crime, and the alarming availability of weapons are just some of the ingredients in what is often a toxic cocktail.
Between 2008 to where we are now in 2025, young people's experience and relationship with social media has changed dramatically. It opens a world to them where they're receiving misguided information on how to stay safe, how to deal with problems that they encounter as they grow up, but also they're getting content played to them through the algorithms, which often normalizes knife crime, desensitizes them knife crime, and in some cases glamorizes knife crime.
The Ben Kinsella Trust is named after 16-year-old Ben Kinsella, who was stabbed to death in North London in 2008 in an unprovoked attack. It works with schools to show young people the damage and suffering that knives bring.
We have a purpose-built exhibition, a series of interconnecting rooms which help young people see and understand the real reality of what happens when you carry a knife, and that reality on those who were directly affected. And that's something that's very powerful, and that young people understand and find relevant to their experience.
Back in South London, similar efforts are being made to combat knife crime in Croydon. What is of particular concern here is the high level of fatalities, often involving young people who are growing up in a world where access to knives and their use are chillingly commonplace.
You can get a knife like you're buying a burger. It's so easy to get a knife. Young people are able to order knives online, get them delivered to one of the local boxes. They can even get them delivered to their friends' houses or mature gang members, semi-independent services, supported living accommodations. So these young people are able to obtain knives left, right and centre. I've had the privilege of going to some real challenging communities in the Bronx, New York. I've also been down to downtown Kingston and met up with gang leaders. I've also been in Cape Town at some of the townships, and I've had conversations and dialogue with young men, late teens, early 20s, and they can't understand how in the UK we can do such an intimate act of violence, which is knife crime. In the US they shoot from a distance. In Jamaica they shoot from a distance. In South Africa they do it from a distance. So how is it that in the UK we can get so intimate in terms of the act of knife crime? It shows how cold, callous and lacking in human morality, lacking in human sense, when young people feel that that's okay to do. That's a major concern for me.
One person living the rest of her life every day with the consequences of knife crime is Talisha Gopal. Her 15-year-old brother Jermaine was stabbed to death in an unprovoked attack in Croydon in 2017.
It's hard. It's still hard to this day. It's never going to leave us. I mean, I suffer with PTSD. I was diagnosed in 2018 after the court case, and it's triggering because a lot of people knew Jermaine in the community. A lot of people knew that Jermaine wasn't that type of person. He didn't walk around with a knife. His intentions weren't to do any harm to anybody. It was a random attack. He wasn't a target directly. It's just because he lived in the area and they assumed that he was a part of the gang because he was in the area. I feel like it's quite sad that we're only kind of coming out with certain sanctions now around knives at this point when we should have done it almost 10 years ago, before this problem that even was existing as much as it is now. I started in 2019 to go into primary schools actually to start educating from a younger age around serious youth violence and knife crime because of what is happening and the increase, as you probably know, around the stats from 2017 upwards. It's just solely increased every single year in London, and the ages have got younger and younger.
So what is the way forward when faced with such an alarming problem? One innovative approach that seems to have had positive results comes from Scotland, where in 2005 the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit was set up after the World Health Organisation dubbed the city of Glasgow the murder capital of Europe. Since then, by taking a public health approach, which is that violence is preventable and is not inevitable, there has been a sharp decline in the murder rate across Glasgow and Scotland as a whole, particularly with relation to young people. Similar units are now being set up across England and Wales, giving the hope that a future generation may grow up without the fear and the reality of knife crime.